Okay, I pressed a button. I don't know what it did. Oh, oh, hey, that's what it did. Good morning and good evening. I think this is stream 9 or 10. I really should start writing the number down rather than looking it up on YouTube and see what number I've gotten to. So, this is a series of streams where I am sort of playing around with some libraries in Rust to learn how to do some graphics and user interface and physics and all sorts of cool things. Just show you what I've gotten so far. Hey there, Ramy, you're first. 715209, you're second. It's that time of day again. Yeah, I had a spinning cube, but now the cube has acquired a physical presence in the virtual world. And it falls down and lands on the ground that we made. And the problem with that is I wanted this button up here when I click it to actually kick the cube up into the air again, but instead it crashes because of a borrow error. Ah! Hey there, Silmeth. Silmeth, are you the one that commented in the YouTube? I guess I shouldn't try to link accounts, but someone on YouTube. You did? Yeah. Silmeth found a bug. Should we fix the bug that Silmeth found? What's this? Oh yeah. I can't do that. So what am I gonna do here? Undo some of this stuff. How far did I get? Oh crap. I forgot to make a checkpoint before I did all these changes. Well, first, before I fix the bug Silmeth found, I need to make this stuff run again. Okay, so you didn't find a bug, just comment about you think, oh, an unnecessary async is a bug, right? Yeah, we'll fix the unnecessary async. But first, we must get our program to compile again. So I thought about what I was doing wrong here, and what I think the root of this is this info overlay passed in to egui, process egui, which is passed to redraw, which the app calls. I think the problem is that the redraw closure owns the info overlay, but does not own the app. But really, the app intrinsically needs to have a lot of, or the info overlay needs a lot of access to the app. So, one solution I thought of, I actually thought of two potential solutions. One is that the app just owns the info overlay and can just reach into it directly rather than it needing to be passed to redraw. Just when the app gets to where it needs to use the overlay, it just reaches into it and uses it. The other solution is back where we do the overlay and we do this calling this closure, this boxed function object. What if instead of doing that, we just had a channel and we sent a message on the channel, and somewhere else the app reads from the channel and does the work that the channel asks of it. That's two solutions. Look at these cool people being contributors to the stream and code. Here I am just shit talking every now and then. Well, that's okay, Ramy. You're an artist, so you have that artist badge. Artists are allowed to just shit talk every now and then and not contribute. My son is like, bad word. Yeah, but Ramy wrote the bad word. I'm allowed to say it because someone in chat wrote it, right? If only Twitch allowed you to use your own emote as the artist, that'd be great. Oh, that's true. Everyone want to see the emote? That's what Ramy made. And unfortunately, I'm the only one who can use it here because I gave up affiliate status, which means no one can have a subscription, which means I'm the only subscriber to myself. Woohoo! Should I apply to the affiliate program again? I kind of feel like that would be okay. One of your all-time greatest achievements? I know. It's like epic. It's got like 4 or 5 variations now. There's the cactus looking right, or there's the cactus looking left, or there's the one that's looking straight ahead. And I'm sure there are others that I have forgotten now. Okay, I'm just going to undo this kick stuff for now. We'll get back to it. So if I don't need that, we're going to delete that for now. Going to get rid of this. No more kick in the new. So back in the app. No more app kick. Okay. All right, and then this run. Not the right run, is it? Maybe it is the right run. What's up with this? This closure, right? Second argument. Oh yeah, it takes the context, but we don't need it. It's this. It's this self here. So info overlay draw doesn't take this app anymore. It doesn't need this add content to have an app, so we delete that. Okay, we have one error and one warning. The error right here. So they haven't hit save yet. Okay, now we just have 3 warnings. Consider adding a semicolon. Yes, sir. Rust analyzer. Kick. I want to keep this around because we're going to still use this, but let's just comment it out so that the, well, actually, a better thing would be to keep the method, but this suppress the warning about it not being used. It's dead, but it will be resurrected. To do. How do you spell resurrect? Resurrect this code. Zombie emote. One error, one warning left. It's this one. Okay, terminal, cargo run. One of your art's greatest achievements, you dare say. Cactus the mortar board. Oh, that's right. It had a mortar board in one of those pictures, right? Okay. So, what Silmeth found was that we're doing a block. The block on. I think it was this one, or is it both of these? See how I have a block, the executor block on an asynchronous function, but then inside the asynchronous function, we're already awaiting something? Well, those two can be canceled out. We don't need this to be async because instance the request adapter is already returning a future. So, you know, why make a useless async block? We could just block on the future that we get. So can I do the same thing for this one here? Yes, I can. So there are actually 2 places. This one also doesn't need an async block because inside it has an await, so it's already returning a future. Look at that. Nice and clean. Thank you, Selmeth. I learned something. Necromancer coder, that's right. We got to resurrect that code. Now that, but first, because I regretted it about how long ago? About 8 minutes ago, I regretted not making a checkpoint or a commit. So I introduced rapier physics engine. That's the main thing I did there. That's weird. I can't hit Command S and then still holding Command hit W for some reason. It's a bug in the keyboard. Who made this keyboard? Tell that manufacturer that there's a bug in the code. Oh wait, that's me. What'd you miss? I removed an async? Yeah, so this used to have block on an async block, and inside the async block, we awaited request adapter. Request adapter is already returning a future, so we don't need to wrap that with an async block and inside await the request adapter. We can just take the future and directly pass it to block on, because block on takes a future. Look at that. It's compatible already with what request adapter is returning. Essentially what it's saying is we want to request an adapter from the instance. It's asynchronous. So if we just tried to assign the return value to adapter, it would be a future adapter. But we want an adapter now. So we need some way to adapt async code to synchronous code. So one way is to just say, hey, use the thread we're on, just block the current thread until the future is done. But yeah, before I had a useless async block that looked like that. This still works. What this is basically saying is we're going to block on some future. The future is this asynchronous block, and this asynchronous block inside is calling another asynchronous method and waiting for that to complete, and taking the return value of request adapter and then forwarding on to as its own return value for the block. So it's basically a useless wrapper. You know, we would need the async block if we did more than one await, right? If we did two awaits, we can't just block on a sequence of two futures, right? We would have to have an async block and at least await the first one. I guess we'd have to await both of them. We'd have to await both of them, and then the total sequence of waiting for two futures becomes one future that we would block on. Or we could take the whole thing and wrap it into a function that returns a future and block on that, right? So yeah, hopefully that makes more sense now. Okay, to fix the problem about the info overlay. So I think that this info overlay should go into the app itself, or we use a channel. Channel is more like a last resort if you have two things in your code that need to communicate, but it would be too complicated to have one place that somehow borrows both, which is sort of the case I have. But if I don't mind merging this state into the app, then we can just move it into the app. So maybe one step to this is to actually just move the info overlay as it is into the app. So that was in, we put it into the redraw, right? Put the app, the closure around redraw. Here it is. Two functions called redraw, which is a little bit confusing. This should probably be called redraw factory or something. Why don't I just rename it now? Then we have resize factory, and now I'll be able to tell them apart. These really are factories. They generate boxed function objects by taking some state and closing upon it. And we do this because we want to have interior mutability, but then share the app around. So we put into our closure a new reference to the app, and then inside the closure, it does a dynamic mutable borrow, which is where a crash is happening, because this you can only call if no one else, if you don't already have an outstanding mutable borrow. All right, so that means this moves out. First, let me just add this to add it to app, add it to inner, add it to inner. Here. All right. So then I'm going to remove it from here. Add it down here. Like that. Put it there. Okay, getting there. So because the app has it, we don't really need to give it to the redraw function of the app's internal. So we can go to where resize is and remove it. Remove that, right? So this becomes just self dot. So that means because process egui is also a method of self, we don't need to pass the info overlay process egui anymore. So here we would just say self dot. So far so good. So here's what I was hoping to do. That because it's a method of self, that we could pass self here. If I can't do that, then I'll try something else. So import that. Nope, can't do that. It's probably the same issue, right? Yep. It's a borrow checking issue. So back that out. So along with the idea of the info overlay being part of the state, I was thinking that there's a technique called model view controller, or model view controller, right? Model MVVM. Model view model. Oh no, I don't want an ad, go away. Okay. That was a really intrusive ad too. What's the shortcut for making things bigger? Don't know, we'll just do it. I want the picture. Where did it go? There it is. So if our actual data is in our app, that's the model, and if the view is the info overlay, if I actually made a third thing called the view model, which is another structure that we give to the info overlay that the model holds onto. This isn't really the best diagram. It really should show that instead of sending notifications, it's really just like mutating. So the model usually either directly mutates the view model, or something else like a controller will extract data from the model and put it into the view model, because the view model is sort of like the view's perspective of what the model has. And it's more closely bound to the view than it is to the model. It's like the view needs data from the model but can't access it directly. So something else constructs or like forwards or makes a representation of the model for the view, and that's called the view model. So I was going to try to use that kind of an architecture here. So this is what I'm going to do. Up in the info overlay, we'll make another struct called what? Info overlay view model. So what does the view model need? Let me think about this. I actually need it to go both directions, like this diagram shows. It has to be able to update the model and send notifications to the, well, I don't know if I agree with this diagram. Maybe I'm not using the MVVM. Maybe this is a similar pattern, but I'm thinking this data that the view, actually this is the view model, right? It's the other direction. When things happen, when the UI is clicked, rather than updating it directly, we kind of want to send notifications back. Maybe I do want a channel. Just scratch the MVVM for now, because maybe it doesn't really fit. Maybe I do want a channel. So then, to do a channel, what we would do is we would declare the type of the message that goes through the channel. So that would be an enum info overlay message. Actually, it's going to complain about repeating the name. So if we just say message. Okay, there is no semicolon there. So the message right now is like button clicked. Okay, and we don't need this. So when we create the info overlay, we're going to be given the receiver for that. So let's go back to app where I create the info model, which so that would be in created here in new down at the bottom. Yeah, right here. Let's move this a little bit. Set up info overlay and our feedback channel from it. Let equal. Move that. Okay, and then we're gonna have like a let. Is it sender receiver? Or is it receiver sender? Equal channel. It doesn't need to be multi-producer. It can just be it's not called channel then, is it? It's called something else. I need to look it up. It's under standard sync something. Or it's not even under standard sync. It's like unbound or on one, not one shot, because we need to reuse it. One shot isn't even in the standard library. It's part of something else, right? It's like unbounded, something like that. We don't want it. It doesn't need to be futures. It Google Rust channel channels Rust by example. I don't need the MPSC version though, do I? That's like overkill. Basics of Rust channels. Oh, that's not the. What was it? Wasn't there a lighter weight channel? All these ads. I hate ads. Okay, maybe it is MPSC, or I'm thinking of the futures one. Unbounded. Yeah, I think unbounded was the futures one, right? So I guess we do want MPSC because it's the annotation. Yeah, it doesn't know what type we need. Sender and then receiver, right? So sender would go here, and then we would hold on to the receiver. So let's give it a name. Let's just put the name in front of both things. All the things. That shouldn't have gone there. All right, so then in this new, I want, well, what's the type of this now? Sender of some type, right? So sender. But I lost my keyboard there for a second. Sender of messages. Maybe what I was thinking for a lighter weight channel would just be a queue. What if I just use a queue? Not sure what the lighter channel is. Maybe it's just queue. We can keep the heavier one for now because in the future then I could send this to another thread potentially, right? Okay, so that would go here. It's not public anymore. Actually, none of this should really be public at all. Right? I really should just be mutating the info overlay through, well, I'm mutating it through add content. That's the thing. That's why we're incrementing the cat there. I'll just leave it the way it is. So, sender. The idea is that here, after we increment the count, we're going to do sender, send message button clicked. Okay. Back in the app here, adding to inner a receiver. Info overlay message, which because the help stuff doesn't do this for you, it doesn't do an import and a rename at the same time. I'll do it myself. So it's where's info overlay? I don't know where it is. Use info overlay message as info overlay message. Where did it put it? Oh, that's oh, not, it's not our child, so I had to do create. Yeah, there it is. Okay. And we need to report receiver. MPSC sync channel is bounded. All right. So now we have to actually do something when messages get put into that channel. So where do we actually do the drawing? Pull in, redraw. Uh-oh. We have a guest. Yes, show sir. Yeah. Bite me. Kitty. Meow, exactly. More like loud meow, like demanding something, and then purring. Starting to eat all my cables and then biting my, look, she bites. Ow. You can't see because chat's covering it up. I don't know if you'd want to walk in front of the screen like that. You're going to start stepping on things. Ah! All right. She wants attention. It's in here somewhere. Where is it? Process egui, right? So process egui might have the side effect of giving us messages. So let's handle any messages from the info overlay. So it would be like while let message equal in the self dot info overlay dot a receiver dot receive, I guess. Or can I just use it as a... Does it just receive? And I get an error if it's empty? I forget how we use this again. Channel. Receive will block until the message is available while there's at least one sender. So we don't want that. I guess we want try receive. Yep, attempts to return a pending value without blocking. Failure cases, one for... Okay, so we just ignore the empty buffer one. So what's a try receive error? Empty or disconnected. So I think I can just ignore the error case, right? So this would be if let okay message equal try receive, then match message. Okay, and if the button was clicked, I already have the code I want to put there. I just had it down here commented out somewhere. Where was it? It was in kick, right? Oh, it was here, but it needs to be resurrected. Oh, where am I? Where am I? Construct, redraw. Yeah, here we go. Self kick. I got one warning, and the warning is probably that the result of sending is ignored. So we don't care. We don't care if the receiver actually ever receives it. All right, let's try it out. Cargo run. Yeah, channel is sort of an escape hatch if it's hard to connect two things directly. Okay, I have a feeling I'm not applying enough force on that cube, so let's increase the force by an order of magnitude until it actually blows up or we see the cube actually get kicked in the air. So let's make the force 10 instead of 1. Or maybe it's time for me to like add stuff to the GUI like a slider. All right. Oh, whoa. The force never goes away? That's funny. So wait. It's the force is permanent. So if I just keep clicking the button, it'll start to levitate. Okay. I didn't. I guess we want to add impulse. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. At one point, it's going to start levitating, right? Oh, there it goes. Bye-bye, cube. See you later. We don't want to add force then. Can I like add an impulse? Impulse. Apply impulse. There we go. We want to apply an impulse, not add force. And I don't know if what the order, how much of an impulse we need to add. I'm gonna guess we want 50. This could go amusingly wrong though. Okay. Whoop. Is it gonna land on us again? Never coming back? Oh, there it is. Okay. What comes up must come down. You play with Bevy? No, I haven't played with Bevy yet. It has some really interesting approach to REST API and code first attitude. Well, let's look. Would it show up under libs? Yeah, a refreshingly simple data-driven game engine and app framework. By the way, I can turn off the second cam, right? There's no cat there. It uses wgpu. It does use w init. Hey, those are two libraries I already know now. Glam. So this, I guess, is an alternative to Nalgebra. Huh. Okay, well, they need some more impressive things on their README, like some animations or screenshots or something. But yeah, I haven't looked into it. I don't know much about it other than what I just read or what I just skimmed. All the components rendering physics are replaceable. You can write them if you want. That's cool. I like that. Okay, there's with an impulse of 10, and so now we can bounce the cube around. Whee! Oh, I got it to turn. Okay, what if we like apply some random number to like the other two axes? So I forget, how do you make random numbers? I need like a rate called random, don't I? Why am I so friggin' zoomed in on this? There we go. It's random, right? Rand, it's rand. Random number generators. So we're at what? 0.8. So cargo.toml, we go over to here and do rand 0.8. Do you still need the rand crate? Oh, that's why I did a search first over here, and there's random state, and for a hash map, yeah, but didn't look like. Okay, there's a Harvard generated random numbers. Interestingly, it's only on x86, which I'm not on, so I wouldn't even be able to use that. Yeah, I guess you still need the random crate. All right, in the app, right? Apply impulse. So, didn't you have to make a generator first and then you could use it? Okay, we can just use random. Random distribution over a type. What if I want to for a range though? I guess I would divide by the max or convert it to a float. And yeah, something like that. Oh, floating point types, it's a half open range 0 to 1. Let's use that. So let's let dx equal random turbo fish times 0.1. So anywhere from 0 to 0.1. Just want a subtle nudge in one of the other dimensions. And then replace this with a dx and dz. Oh yeah, that problem. So it's 32-bit. That's another thing I want to fix today. I wanted to like make these more interchangeable. Okay, so we can run this, right? It's a bit more eye-candy on the main page, but not much either. Okay, let's look at the main page. I already closed it. Sorry. Open it again. Libs, bevy, click it. Oh, by the way, they have an egui plugin. Nice. That's what I would want. Oh, hold on. We're looking at the internet. Go away app. Home. Okay. There's some eye candy for sure. These are all good things, right? Cross-platform wins my vote. It's hard not to be cross-platform in Rust, as I think about it. So it's just eye candy, but there's no like examples of apps. So what I was looking for or expecting, I guess, was like for Rapier, one of these. I guess we can use this one, or I can open a new one. Because why reuse an old tab when you can make a new one? I guess I was expecting is like on their homepage. Was it not Rapier? It might have been something else. What would it have been? Okay, now I can't even remember what it was. Thought it was Rapier, but it is not. Was it wgpu? Maybe it was wgpu. Yeah, here we go. This is what I expected to see. Something like this. This is what sells when you have like animated examples of things that were made using your library. It's like, oh, cool. We can do all this cool stuff. Look at all that. Whoosh, a fluid solver. Sky renderer. Cross-platform MIDI visualizer. Look at all this cool stuff you can make. So they should do the same thing for Bevy. Just saying. Just saying. Okay. Where is my app? Oh, it got shunted to this window? Okay. Click me. Okay, it's still sort of, yeah, we need to give it a little bit more of a nudge. By the way, this can go away because I'll do that later. More of a nudge, so increase the force. How about down up to 1? Oh, they have an examples page? Well, they should put that on the main page. Come on, guys. All right, so there we go. So they've been redeemed. Look at all these cool things you can do in Bevy. So that was 2D stuff, and then, ooh, look, here's 3D rendering. Oh, and hey, that looks familiar, doesn't it? That was on the wgpu examples. And then we got animations. How come their animations aren't animated? Wait, they're not animated? Come on. Okay, and these are all blank. I don't know why. Okay, it's getting somewhere, but like, come on, we got to see more action. At least like the animated examples should be animated, right? On the thumbnails, don't you think? They're getting there. Oh, you can have font atlases? I guess if you don't use something like egui. Yeah, it seems more of like a monolithic library, like an all-inclusive. It does everything. When I see like that it does UI stuff. So it's sort of like its own walled garden, right? But maybe with no walls. Its own garden in which everything is there that you might need, but maybe you're free to go outside the garden walls and pick things outside as well. All right, click me. There we go. Okay, now we have the problem that the camera is, it goes off camera and we can't see it anymore. What if I make the Z always negative? So we would add 1 to this. So it's always going to try to kick it. Actually, forward would be -1. So it should always kick it forward, which is negative. It's positive is towards us, negative is away, right? So I should be able to kick it off the edge at some point. Kick it, go away, off the edge you go. Oh, it's actually leaving the frame to the right. Let's have another button, just because it's like reset cube or something. So same thing. In fact, I kind of feel like I should have a function for this, right? Get cube. The type of that is rigid body. This should be like get cube body. And we put this stuff in it. But cube body equals get cube self dot get cube body. It's all just hacks anyway. Whoops. Didn't mean to paste that, whatever that was. Try again. All right, cube body dot position. That position. Translation. How come I can't click into it? Ah! Unknown. That's why. Because this is bad. Okay, that's why. Import. I don't want to import from the prelude. It's not in the. Oh, we got a bunch of stuff we got to fix from here. This is probably all in dynamics, right? Except for collider builder, it's apparently not in dynamics. I hate importing from the stupid prelude. Collider, forget what it is. Collider builder. Where are you? You're in geometry. Okay. Guess that makes sense because with collider set. All right. Another reason I don't like to import from the prelude is because importing from the real place kind of lets me go look and see, oh yeah, we're using this part of the dynamics part of the library and this part of the geometry. So it's, and at pipeline, yeah, I think it's more educational to do it that way. And I just see what, okay, here we go. So we get an immutable borrow. How do I actually move it? Set translation? Okay, there we go. Set translation. Back we go. Yeah, okay. It had trouble helping me out with the name there because of the other errors, I think. Okay, so then we really just want to put it back. I kind of just want to, I don't want to mess with the Z coordinate. I want to put it back. I just want to move the X coordinate back. So let's get mutable position equal cube body dot translation dot copied or clone. It's going to give me a borrow, right? I don't want to borrow. I want to clone it. So now I have something I can modify. So position dot x equals 0. And then give it back. Ah, there we go. All right, it's correct that I'm not actually calling it. So let's fix that. So we want to be able to call it from here. So button clicked really becomes kick. And this one should be like reset cube. Kick cube. Okay. And let's add a button for that. We don't really need to see how many times we've done it. We don't really need that cool spinner anymore. So this is kick. And this is reset. We don't have a count anymore. That was just to play around with it. So count goes away. I'm thinking of making this immutable. Add content, like make that immutable. To kind of reinforce that it shouldn't update its own state. It should always go through the messaging system. Another thing I could do is add content can return something, right? Oh no, it can't, because we have to put it into a closure, and that closure can't capture self, can it? Because we're already borrowing self through that. It would be a borrow problem. All right. Anyway, back in the app, we got to handle that. Handle it. Fill in the blank for me, please. There we go. And then self.reset cube. Let's rename this to kick cube. Follow that, and then I already have reset cube. Done. 2 warnings. Oh, it implements the copy trait, so we can just do that. We can borrow that. Is the problem that it starts out as a reference? And why does it let me do that? Probably because this hasn't been resolved yet. So I do want to clone. How do I tell it that it's going to need or maybe just copy? Can't call it directly, right? Do I dereference it then? Force a copy? Okay, that's what it is. And then set translation, forgot the semicolon. All right. Rust is happy again. Oh, I got a raid from Brooke Zerker. Hey, Brooke Zerker. How are you doing? Look, I got a cube I can kick around. Reset it, moves it back to the center so that I can, if it goes off screen like that, I can just put it back. Eventually it's going to go off the edge of the ground there. I want to see that happen. It's definitely got a right bias, so I must have a bug. Oh, there it went off the edge. I got physics. Maybe I should be resetting the Y as well, then we can see where it is. And then now we can have some fun because we have a physics engine, right? It should be really easy for me to do stuff like put it back level with the camera, right? Building, building, building. I know, once you get like a physics engine, stuff gets fun. Woo! Kick it. Kick. There it is. I'm resetting its X and Y, but not its Z. Go off the edge. Go off the edge. Oh. A little bit more. A little bit more. Get a teeter on the edge. Go on. You can do it. Oh, oh, did you see it's rocking at the edge there? Oh, there it goes. And now it's got a huge Y velocity. And we can never get it back. Just slash it with a rapier rather than kicking it. So like divide it into 2 cubes. Okay, see you, Brooke Zerker. Thanks for the raid. Silmith, you had said right before the raid you hate preludes too, especially when docs tutorials start with use foo prelude and you have no idea what's where. I know. Sometimes you want to look at the imports to see like where things are. So I think it's because this is from 0 to 1, and if I want it to be like even, I need to subtract 0.5 from that, right? Now it shouldn't have a tendency to go to the right. Now it should have a tendency to be either left or right, sort of like in the middle. Kick. See, now it goes left sometimes. Sometimes it goes right. Okay, I feel like the kick isn't powerful enough. We need a little bit more oomph. Go to 20. I think the next thing to play around with would be to add a slider for that. Maybe even show the coordinates of the cube. Whoa. Okay, that's a little bit too hard. Whoa. Something in between 10 and 20. I was thinking about this yesterday at lunch. I think I have a tendency to just hard code too many constants in my code rather than spend maybe 2 minutes that it would take for me to add a slider here. Right? I should just add a slider. Whoop. All right. You know what we can also do? We can apply some spin to it, right? Apply torque impulse. Yes, let's apply some torque. Let's just give it some kind of constant torque. So every time we kick it, we're also going to spin it. How do we want to spin it? Kind of want to spin it along the z-axis. That's what I feel like doing. So let's give it some torque. Okay, so I haven't really explained exactly what I'm doing, but hopefully it's sort of self-describing what I'm doing. Oh, that was some serious torque there. Whoa, there it goes. I think I'm still maybe giving it too much momentum. You know what what's doing is the torque is kicking it to the left. So anyway, it should be self-evident what I'm doing, but just in case it's not, so I'm playing around with libraries in Rust to do things like draw graphics, draw overlays of user interface elements, and playing around with the physics engine, right? So those are 3 different libraries. The physics engine is called rapier, and there's a rapier command if you want to learn more. And the user interface overlay is egui, and the graphics in general are wgpu, and we're using winit to host the window. So that's really actually 4 different libraries we're playing with. And there are integration libraries between some of them, most of them actually. And just last week or week and a half, I've been getting familiar with those libraries. Not planning to really do much with them yet, but just kind of having fun. So once you have graphics, user interface, and a physics engine, you can start having just fun playing around with stuff. That's what I'm doing. What's the purpose of times 0.1 multiplication? So that I can do something like this later too. And now it's gonna like put some other randomness. So let's bias this the other way. It's just me putting in constants, knowing that I'll probably want to try something other than 1. And really, I guess I had in mind that I'd probably replace those with sliders in a bit. Whoa. I think it's still left biased because of the torque we're putting on it. Oh, maybe not. I think it's a little bit too much torque. So let's reduce that torque down to, I don't know, how about just 2? I want to put some spin on it, but not a whole bunch. All right, kick. There we go. Okay, but now my right bias is too much. So let's just add point. Can't say 0.5. You have to say 0.5. Okay, fine. Might not be enough. Bias back to the left, or that might be too much. Kick. Yeah, it's still going to the right, so subtract 0.5. Hey, Ismat. I'm gotten to the fun part of my learnings where I have integrated graphics, user interface, and physics engine. Now I'm kicking cubes. Oh, it's too much fun. It's still got a right bias to it. Subtract even more. I want it to be perfect. I want to have a perfect amount of fun. But I promised a slider, and I got to deliver a slider, right? The other thing I want to learn is how, if I wanted to arrange the buttons sideways, there's probably a way to do that. I just haven't learned it yet. Okay. Whoa, whoa, no, no, kick it the other way. Ah, it's right in front of us. Reset puts it again right in front of us, but doesn't do anything with the momentum. So if it's falling, it continues to fall. All right, let's add the slider. So the slider would be what variable do we want to up? Maybe the kick force. So let's just call that self dot kick force. So then I have to move this to where we declare inner, or let's hold on. Let's put it inside of the yeah, we have to put it inside of the info overlay, right? Because the overlay is going to adjust it. So info overlay has the kick force in it right here. F32, right? I got to initialize it. Okay, now I want to learn how to make a slider. Did you finish the 2D game? No, I had to pause the game development because I got a job where one of the conditions of working there is not supposed to work on games. At least I'm not supposed to work on games that I show the public. Sort of a weird restriction, I know, but that is what it is. Okay, so egui. How do you make a slider? Like one of these, right? Slider. I can probably right click on that. Or what is it? There we go. I hit the correct thing. So it's just slider. And I give it a value and a range. Easy enough. So UI.slider. UI add new slider. Okay, that's interesting. I didn't have to do UI add before. It was always just UI label, UI button. So now we're actually doing add slider. Thought it would help me with the arguments, but apparently not. Gotta help ourselves. Oh, because I want to call slider new, that's why. There we go, value. So the value is going to be self dot kick force range. I don't know, 0 to I don't know, 100. So it needs to be mutable. at once a range inclusive. There we go. One of those weird places where you actually need a space, because otherwise it becomes 3 dots, which is a different symbol. Let's see what I got. I got an error because of a borrowed self and apply impulse. So yeah, we need to copy it first before we apply the impulse. Move that out. Kick force equal that. Kick force. Oh. Yeah, we can't do that. Because we borrowed the body. I need to do it before we borrow the body. There we go. Yeah, borrow checker is, it's like, no, don't do that. 2 borrows at the same time. Don't do that. So now hopefully we should have a slider. Oh, there we go. So kick at 15. Kick at like 8. Kick at 60. Woo! It's still going up. It's still going up. Oh, it reached the top. Now it landed. Whoop. Will it land? Let's add a coordinate display so we can see where it is. Oh, there it is. This is too much fun. Yeah. In the info overlay, I'll get faster at this as I get more experience, right? But let's say cube position, vector 3, F32, I think it is. And then import that from algebra. Okay, and then it has a default position. Let's say we don't always know what the position is, so it's an option. So then it starts out at none, and then like if it has a position, then we'll draw it. Where do we want to draw it? I guess at the end. So if let some position equals self dot q position, UI dot label format x position dot x y. Can I do dots inside of that, or am I going to run into trouble? Looks by the coloring that I'm going to run into trouble. Yep. Actually, what if I just put position there? Ooh, so it might actually format it for me. Let's see what it... I can't just run it now. Too eager. I actually need to update the cube's position before we draw the overlay. So that's back here. In redraw. So we should probably put it up here because when we do process egui, that's where we draw stuff. So update view model, or I'm still going to kind of call it the view model because it's the info overlay. It's what the info overlay uses to draw, right? So self.info overlay dot cube position equals self dot get cube body dot translation. Okay, so it's some position. And I found a reference, so I need to dereference it. Cool. All right. Now see where it is in the readout. Oh, and I can barely see it. It's in like really badly colored. So yeah, I forgot to set the font and stuff, right? I've been using this like rich text. so that I can apply a proportional font that's bigger. Yeah, and then also making the text strong so that it stands out from the blue background. I'd like to learn how to make that the default. The two things on my list to learn with the egui: how to change the default font, and then how to make things go horizontal instead of vertical. Okay, so that doesn't really look nice. So I think we got to do our own formatting. I was hoping that it would just look nice, but it doesn't. So is there like a pretty formatter? See what the pretty formatting looks like. The colon hashtag is, I think, if I remember right. Nope, I'm wrong. Isn't there a, like, in Rust format, pretty print struct? That's a trait. What the empty cubes are, it's some character that can't be represented in the font that they're using. Oh, I need a question mark. Pretty print the debug format. Okay, let's try that. Need a question mark after that. It's like missing symbol, right? Maybe it's like a weird form of the curly brace. Okay, so that's a little bit better. But still, I'd really like to maybe only show two significant figures and have it all in one line. So I think we're just gonna have to go back to like X and then say like 0, 2, or I don't need a comma, and I don't need a space there. Let's just copy this. I do need a space there though. Y and Z. All right. Hopefully I got that right. That's nope, I didn't get that right. I also don't want proportional. I want fixed. Is it fixed? Monospace, I think it's called, right? Monospace. It's, I think I need a dot here, right? Maybe I don't need the 0 at all. Yeah, how does it format in the terminal? That's much nicer. Let's kick it with amazing force. There it goes. Look at that Y coordinate go up. And then it crests, and then it's coming back down. It's coming right for us. No! Oh, it bounced like right in front of us. Whoa. Kick it. Kick it up again. Let's put it in front of us. Oh, there it was. I'll wait until it's like coming down at us very fast and then reset it. Boom. Yep. Bounce off screen. There we go. Oh, Kitty's back. You want some more attention? Chat's got my attention right now. Pet the kitty break. He wants attention. Talk to chat. Go ahead. She struggles to get past the noise gate, though. Cube space program. That's right. Kick it. There it goes. And that was a nice bounce. Bounced across the whole screen. So I probably have the max force too high, right? Because it really gets going. And yeah. So yeah, I am kind of curious what it looks like. What if we maybe when we kick, we'll print it as a log message to see what it looks like. So like this info kick from so got to do this first. Info, let's import that. All right, now I should get a log message whenever I hit kick. Kick. So there's the format. Oh, cool. So they're trying to be fancy and make it look like right, because the type is matrix. So they're printing it with little matrix character symbols. That's actually kind of cool. I like that. Not gonna lie, but too bad those symbols didn't show up with the font that we were using. Where is it? There it is. Kick. Ooh. Oh, it fell off the edge. What happens when you fall through the world? You just accelerate down forever. Bye bye cube. Negative 300. Negative 400. So it's at Z 2030. So that's like behind us. That's pretty fancy, don't you think? Both in the egui and here. That is fancy. Let's make the slider more like 0 to 30. And then I wanted to put these buttons side by side. So let's go to egui and learn how to do that. I think I have too many tabs open. Don't need random anymore. I can open that cheat sheet later if I need it. I think we're done with the examples from Rapier because we got the fundamentals down, right? Well, that's the test bed. I'm like, what's color have to do with physics? Their test bed is not their engine. Actually, I'm going to leave that tab open because I might want to come back to it. 1, 2. SDL2. I don't think I'm going to get to that today. We can look that up later. I probably will need to come back to that's the tutorial for wgpu. That's our. I'm going to put that all the way to the left. That's for our Rust reference. This is learning WebGL, creating. Yeah, we don't need this. Algebra. WInit. Learning how to make a timer. Set wait until. I don't think I need that anymore. Might need. Okay, this is what I wanted to get to. There's the egui example, and they show like side by side buttons, for example. So we just need to learn like how they are doing that. It's probably something simple. That screen. Keep that. All right. Let me guess. It's under widgets, right? What kind of widgets do we got? Button, checkbox, hyperlink, image, label, link. Maybe it's not under widgets. Separator? Okay, there's a layout. What is that? I don't know. That's just a structure which gives how to lay things out. Let's go up to the top. Horizontal. I think that's what we want. Put, yeah, exactly. Put buttons and label on the same row. So what is horizontal? Start a UI with horizontal layout. So I guess a UI is like a box in which we're putting stuff. And the UI we started with was vertical. So if we make a new one that's horizontal, got it. So it's going to have the same kind of add contents we saw before. Then that would be ui.horizontal dot function object, which has no arguments. No, it has an argument, right? It gets a UI again. And then that. Nice. So it's somewhat declarative, but it's also imperative. The order in which we call stuff is imperative, but the imperative calls sort of are declaring things. So it feels like a mix of both. So now my two buttons should be side by side. Hey, look, they're side by side. Nice. Let's shorten that and put FPS next to it. Now that we know how to do that. So copy this line, paste, put end stuff there. Oh, wrong way. There. Let's call this like render and FPS, and we'll get rid of the spaces because we don't need them. Mix of both. Declarative imperative. Feels like Rust then. Guess it makes sense. Why is there still a space there? Because of that. Judging that I don't need that extra digit. Always going to be under 100 milliseconds. Kick. Max kick. Woo. Set. Okay, I think next, what I'd like to do, because it's sort of annoying to have the cube go off screen, I want to be able to turn the camera around. That means I'm going to apply a transform on the view, which we haven't done yet, and it'll have a rotation along the y-axis, right? So let's first add the slider since we happen to be here. And let me put this into a nice little horizontal also, so that we can say with a label. But this slider is kick force. Oh, I can shorten this, right? Kick force. Let's put that with the kick button, actually. Move that out here. Let's put the button after the slider. And let's, no, then I don't need the label. Then I don't need the label. It's just, the button says kick. The button just says, oh, I'm terrible at UI design. Just do that. Don't need this anymore. Well, I'll keep that. Very indecisive. I know my UI layout sucks, but I try. I try. Oh, the position shouldn't be on that line. How did that happen? Yeah, that should be like here. Yes. Yeah, UI design is like sidetracking me too. This feels a little bit better. Maybe reset should go next to kick though. Maybe that should say cube, and then we know that that's a force, kick, and then a reset next to it. Kind of feels more correct. We have an empty horizontal. Nothing wrong with the rudimentary UI. Hey there, War Eagle. Is there something wrong with me, like, obsessively iterating over the UI? Okay, let's make the camera rotate. So I want a horizontal with a label and a slider, so kind of the same thing, right? But instead of force, this should say camera, and then this would be like the rotation of the camera, camera or look Y, I guess, because we're rotating the look angle from the y-axis, and have it in terms of degrees, so from minus 180 to positive 180. And we don't need a button. Okay, look Y needs to be added to our state. We don't need info anymore. Pub look Y is a F. I think I was using 64-bit math for that, so F64 it is. Started looking with no rotation. Jumping in new coding languages and sitting all day is totally normal. Yeah, thank you for the reassurance, War Eagle. Okay. App needs to actually use that angle. Okay, so it's in our render pass, right? It's in our draw, happens. So I need to pass that in here. So self.info overlay.lookY. So draw needs to be told like lookY. F64. Both of these need that, right? No, egui does not. Our models do. When we draw our models, we want to know the look direction. Because that's down here, right? When we ask the model renderer to draw. This smells like needs to be refactored. In fact, look at that. We have too many arguments. We have exceeded the arbitrary limit of 7. So now we have a to-do item. Needs refactoring. I also don't like that potentially we could have a lot of parameters in here. So I might want to start grouping things. Like the things that are related to how to draw. So the look direction, like maybe the field of view also will be in here. I think it's hard coded right now. Oh yeah, this is the other to do. I wanted to do that today as well. So here's where I hard coded the field of view right now. I have a perspective transform, and there's the instance transform. I need a view transform, right? View transform goes if you compose matrices from right to left. So it's instance first, then we rotate the view or transform the view, and then we apply a perspective transform, right? So we want to calculate that. So I should separate this. Perspective view, so look the camera, where the camera is. And this is model, right? I should probably call it model transform because that's the traditional name, right? It's model view perspective or model view projection, really, right? Right. So isn't that usually called projection? Oops. Ah, I'm making it worse. Projection. Okay. What I'm getting at is if you go to Google and you look up like model view projection matrix, model view projection, that's like a common way that when you're learning how to do graphics that they that's common terminology, right? Model view and projection matrices. So if I or anyone else looked up any kind of tutorial stuff on this, those are the terms that are usually used. Model view projection. So I'm going to use model view projection so that when I look at my own code a year from now, I'll know what it means. The view projection is how we move the camera, right? So let view transform. Let's just start with the simple rotation. So that's making a quaternion, right? Or yeah, unit quaternion. How did I do this before with the model? Or right, it's dot quaternion from the rotation. Oh, that's because it came from the physics engine. So what I want to do is I kind of want to make one from an axis angle. So that would be I forget. So I'm going to look it up in algebra. Here we go. I want axis angle or something like that. Axis angle. There we go. So it's a method of unit to generate a new vector off of what? What's the self? A unit quaternion? Is there like axis angle that doesn't require something? I think this might, no, this might be it right here. No, that wasn't. That's what I was just looking at. From axis angle. Yeah, so that generates a self for a unit quaternion, which is what I want. So I want from axis angle. So I have to actually say unit quaternion, right? From axis angle. The axis is the y-axis, so that's 0, 1, 0 into. Then the angle is from self.info overlay. Where is that? I don't see it. Oh, no. We already got it passed in. It was look y. Didn't like the into. What does it need there? It needs a unit vector. Okay. Wait, why couldn't I? Oh, because it needs to be a reference. Nope, that's not it. Read the error message. The trait unit vector basically from is not satisfied from float 3 floats. Okay, do I do like this was working before? This is not working now. Maybe just say unit vector 3. New normalize. And then borrow that. Probably don't need that. That works. I think what it is it doesn't like taking a vector and assuming it's normalized. So you can't just go straight into a unit quaternion, a unit vector. So the unit vector do normalize does the normalization if it needs to be done. I guess there was another one like unchecked or something that I could have used. New unchecked, assuming it's already normalized. But it's okay. We can have it double check my work. All right, if I did that right, no, I didn't do that right because this needs it in radians, right? The angles in radians. It doesn't say, but usually when things don't say, it's, yeah, well, the example here uses units pi over 2, so that implies radians. I need to do a angle to radian conversion, so that's multiply by, what is it, constants? F32 pi? Constants? Consts. Pi divided by 180. I think the one problem is that the units are, okay, there we go. Fixed. So passing an angle in radians, gonna rotate. Right, it doesn't like it because really we need that to be to a two homogeneous matrix. Yeah. All right, let's try it. All that linear algebra, let's see if I got it right. Now I should be able to pan the camera around. Whoa, there we go. Okay, it's a little bit, it's in units of tens. Interesting. So I kind of want to be more smooth than that. And I would like the slider to be wider. But it works. So I kick it where it would normally go off screen. Now I can kind of pan the camera and look at it. There's F64 2 radians. Oh, nice. Thank you for that, Betseg. So I don't have to do this myself manually anymore. I can just say 2 radians. Aha, thank you. Look at that. And then I can do the same thing down here, right? Only, let's put a 0 there. 2 radians. Ambiguous. Must specify a concrete type. Well, that's unfortunate. Well, I guess I can use the turbo fish. Type wrong. Wait, I thought I disambiguated it. Oh, I have to like do it like the turbo fish has to go somewhere else, right? Ah, fine. Then how do I need a 0 there? Ah, okay, that I don't like that. Although maybe I can disambiguate it this way. No? Really? Can't get it from the context? That. Ah, okay, whatever. So there's a downside to using 2 radians. If we use a constant, well, it'll actually just force me to make this not a constant anymore, which probably shouldn't be. Or I mean a literal. It shouldn't be a literal. It should at least be a constant. Downside, it's ugly. Well, it was okay here. A couple things I wanted to do in the info overlay, right? I wanted to try to make that slider wider. Make the slider wider. So is there a like way to make it width? Step, okay. Okay, we want smoother. Step by. Minimal change to the value. Let's step by 1. Is there a way to make it bigger? Orientation. Smallest positive. Vertical, is that it? Trailing fill? Fill is probably not it. There's probably a trick to just make it wider. Right? I don't know, let's look it up. Like this slider is like has some default width to it, right? How do we override that? Go and command click on that guy. Not what I wanted. Not command click. Option click. Option click. There was a widget info slider. Not it. Slider width, that's a default width. Blah blah. Blah 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 blah. The default slider size is set by, yeah, but how do I make it not the default? I would think that there'd be something called width or something. Custom formatter. Huh, custom parser, binary, octal, hexadecimal. I don't know. Let's ask Google. Egui slider width. Looks like other people have looked this up before. How to resize egui sliders. Okay. Yeah, but I don't want to change it for all. Closures. You can override the settings within the closure area to get the UI from the show method. So it only overrides it within the closure then? Huh. Someone else is saying Bevy. Is that a common thing? That people look at egui, they also are looking at Bevy? So there's the GitHub discussions page. This is suggesting that I override it locally in the UI. I didn't go in the right place. Oh, examples can be found in the discussions page. Okay, so I want spacing mute slider width. Dot spacing mute slider width equals, I don't know, is pixels. We'll just put in a number and see what we get. F64 2 ratings 40 could work. Okay, that's not so ugly. I'll come try that. Oh yeah, look at that nice wide slider. Look at that. I love it. I probably should have it proportional to the window though, right? Like, cause I don't want that to happen. I wonder, can I like make it, put it into a container that automatically resizes it to fit or something like that. Anyway, let's kick it around, kick it off until it goes off screen somewhere. Okay, now turn the camera. There it is. Kick it up, kick it some more. Nice spin on that time. Oh, it's gonna go off the ground. Oh, there it went. Reset. There it is again. We found it. Falling for eternity. Yep, endlessly. I would like to actually click and drag in the window. So that's another thing I can learn how to do, right? Rather than having to click a slider. Whoop, there it went. Bye-bye. It's happily falling now for sure. Yeah, it's behind, no, in front of us. Oh, there it went. There it goes. Bye-bye. There it goes. Reset. No, there it goes. Got some momentum going. It's trying to escape. Yeah, reset is putting it sort of back, but ignoring the z coordinate. So if it's at 50, that means it's going to be way out there. Oh, there it is. You guys see it? It's falling forever, very fast, off in the positive z direction. Oh, now it's beyond my far clipping plane. Wow. So if I just left and came back, what would that y be? It's going to continue accelerating with gravity, right? There is no wind resistance. Yeah, it's gone forever. All right. It would be nice to learn how to make the slider layout like fill the window horizontally. Let's ask Google a question. Or should I learn how to use ChatGPT? Is now the time to use ChatGPT? Can I run? I gotta log in. No. I'll do that off stream. We'll have to do it the traditional non-AI approach. Egui stretch to fill. Element sizes and filling. There's Bing. Does Bing use AI? This doesn't really match my problem, does it? There's a with layout. Developed. Did you see MDN added chatbot? No. MDN, what's that? Just kidding. Microsoft Developer Network? Mozilla? Mozilla developed? So, sorry, I committed an atrocity by saying Microsoft when it was really Mozilla, right? Penguin's only available on Edge. Ugh, Edge. Ugh. Stretch slider. That's my specific case. Stretch to fill. Hmm. Mm-hmm. Stretch fill is too narrow. Okay, how about widget fill available space? How to make new widgets fill available space? That's in Qt though. Find? What's find? Oh, to get in other browsers? Spoof the user agent, yeah. Go back to the egui, like an egui intro or something, right? It would be cool if they had that in here as an example. Oh, shows how you can fill an area with a widget. So how do I get the code for that? You see how it's like stretching to fill? Is that just text edit? Now, where is the code for that? Go resize. GUI example resizable. I thought that there was something in here where you can get a link to where it is in the code. Ah. So, I guess I can search for that. Ah. Must I? Where is their example? Oh, they have multiple examples here. You can see it. So there's text edit. There's a scroll without scroll, freely resized, and embedded scroll. Huh. Thought I had a top level window for egui, but I guess I don't. Let's make one and put it over there-ish where the other stuff was. Repo, or maybe there's examples folder. Where would it be in here? Version. Hold on a sec. Ah. Not seeing like where their main examples are. A lot more examples at that. That was that. What did it say there just now? It has links to the source code of each example. Okay, I would like to see where that link is. Where be the links? Web location? No. Here somewhere. It promised me links to the source code of each example. I just blind. Oh, source code. It's in a little button down here. Okay, press the little button. Got option click it. Here we are. Here's the code. Widget gallery. Slider, progress or color picker, blah, blah, blah. Sample plot, doc link. I feel like there's more to it than here. Demo. Where would it be? Layout test? No, that's something else. Demonstrates the limits GUI layouts. Search for resizable. Okay, it's a good thing. Only I don't think I can search because I'm not logged in, and I don't want to log. I guess I can't search. That's resize. with it's what the heck? It's the test.rs file in that dir. I was in the wrong place. So it's not under source demo. You're saying it's into the tests? Is this it? Window resize test? Aha. This is it. Thank you. Resize default show UI. That makes the window resizable. Available size. Add sized. Is that it? Backspace didn't work. 10 out of 10 file name? What? What? What's 10 out of 10? I don't know. This is it though, right? Whoop, I scrolled too far. Manual layout test. Too far. Too far. Resize. It was window resize test. And line 381. Other files are named after their functions, but this one's just tests. Yeah. Is that because it's under something called tests? No, it just is there. One, right? Window resize. It's a test. We just had to know that. Okay, so things to look at. Look up our add sized, I guess, and available size. So I could take UI's available size and use that to set the slider size, right? So add sized available size. Okay, things to look up. Add a widget to this UI with a given size. The UI would tend to fit within the given size, but some widgets may overflow. To fill all remaining, use add size, okay. Okay, let's try that then. So rather than setting the slider, see that's why I'm worried. Do I need to actually set the slider width manually? So UI dot set sized. Already got it wrong. Add sized. Max size. UI dot available size. This is gonna do horizontal and vertical, so this is gonna like do something really wacky, isn't it? Slider. Hold that. Slider. I don't know. Let's just see what it does. Hey there, 85 filter. Just dropping in to say hi. Wrapping up your Friday and just finishing work. Happy Friday. Look, 85 filter. I can kick the cube now. And I can move the camera, although it didn't actually make the slide. I'm trying to get the slider to like be as wide as the window. And when I resize to have it fill, but it's like not working. I have an idea on what to do next, but yeah, look at that. Physics works. I can play around with cubes, kicking them, and eventually it'll go off the edge for humorous effect. Oh, there it goes. And there's it. There, when I reset it, came back. FPS is even stable. Yeah, I fixed that problem too. Oh, where'd it go? There it is. I only pan the camera left and right because I only have one degree of freedom with the camera right now. Whoa, it was teetering on the edge there. I don't know. I have too much fun just like playing around with the physics engine. get right, to go right on that edge. How about I'll just reduce the force? I'll just give it a little nudge. Whoop, there it goes. Maybe you need to set the width of the UI itself and then resize it to fit to window yourself. What I'm guessing is that the slider ignores that somehow. That I actually have to put it into slider width. That's my guess, that add size doesn't work for the slider. So if we get this available size out, probably after the label, right? And then like we then set the slider width to the available size. What I'm worried about is the number after the slider going off the edge, X, right? And then I just add slider. See what that does. Horizontal might have its own limit. That's why I'm like doing, after I declare the label, so yeah, that's what I was worried about. It'll work, but the readout that says what the number is cut off because we didn't give it, because the slider width is applying to the actual slider part, not the button next to it. So I could hack it by just subtracting something like 100. What units does that have to be in? Oh, not there. I can like hack it there, right? That just feels like a hack. See, now it sort of works, but like, yeah, it's not perfect. Like, I could keep hacking until I get it exactly what I want. So it would be more like, what, 50? We'll do a binary search to find the number. Totally hacking, though. Actually, that's not bad. But I don't want to have to hack that. Oh, it's right on the edge. Oh, wait, a tiny nudge. Just a one. Oh, there it went. Get it back. Okay, what does a one kick do? Just does a little nudge. It's just enough to like knock it off the edge. Full kick. Rah! It'll come back. There it is. Okay, right. It's right on the edge. Tiny kick, like a 0.5 kick. Get over that edge. Get over. Balance right on the edge for me. Oh, there it goes. You can insert the value label yourself, then read the available space, then remove the label. It sounds hacky. What I was hoping was that the add sized widget would actually not just, I think it's resizing the slider, but then the actual the composite, it's resizing the composite widget, but it's not using the space inside the widget. That makes sense, right? This, how did I quit it? This widget is actually two components. There's this guy, which I think I can, yeah, I can click and drag in it. So it's a button-ish thing, and then there's the actual slider part. Probably when I do add sized, it sizes the composite to whatever, but then it's still the position of this button-like thing, and then the width of that internal component that's the actual slider are unchanged. So it's probably using it has space allocated to the right of this button that's just unused. Unless there's something like in the slider that says like size to fill or something. I guess it wouldn't hurt to look up slider and see if there's anything in slider that lets us specify that. Binary, cut to range, custom formatter. Okay, what else? What could it be? Prefix. Show a prefix before the number. Okay. Show value, smallest positive, smart aim. Turn smart aim on. I don't know what smart aim is. Text trailing fill. That's just a color thing. Okay, so yeah, what about, does it implement, what about widget maybe? Anything generic to widget that might be useful? Just UI. Allocate space, interact, paint, and return a response. So this is what is done internally to it. Okay, so it's not widget. That's the only thing it really implements non-automatically. What if I look at the source for the thing? Maybe there's some hint here. There's an add contents. Where are we supposed we're going to find add contents? Don't know. Have to search for it. There it is. Thickness. Response to the slider. Value. I'm like looking for the layout stuff. Labeled by. Where's the actual slider part? That's slider UI? Oops. There it is. Just the slider, no text. Position range rectangle? Rectangle? Yeah, I was thinking about using the mouse next. Mouse click for kick. Yeah, what I was thinking was eventually I'll add multiple cubes and then we'll do a hit test to see which one I click. And whichever one I click will actually kick it, and maybe we'll use where on the cube we kicked it to, like apply an impulse on the surface of the cube and not on the center of mass. So we could do spinning. We could spin things around by kicking them. Guess I'm having trouble understanding how this works because I'm not really that familiar with egui. Like, what's a response rect? Position range? I don't know what any of this stuff is. Allocate slider space? UI spacing? Was that the space between the pieces? Slider. Oh no, this is what I set, right? The spacing slider, this thing. That's where that number comes in here. So it literally is just whatever I set. Whatever I set here is going to use for the width of the desired size. Allocate response. I don't know what that is. Desired size. I don't know what this means. Allocate response. Allocate space for a widget and check for interaction in the space. Class sizes are negotiated. Each widget should have a minimum desired size and a desired size. When asking for space, ask at least for your minimum. Don't ask for more than you need. If you want to fill the space, ask about available size and use that. Okay, which is what the slider is not doing. You may get more space, that's fine. Okay, justified layouts like in menus. Does that mean like I could put it inside of a justified space? Yeah, what if I use justify? Horizontal justify. Centered and justified. Make the next added widget centered and justified in the available space. So what if I... So, I'm not sure what justified means, but we could try this. So this is a method on the UI, centered and justified. Okay. Commenting that out a bit. Centered and justified UI. Try that, I guess. See what that does. Wouldn't it be amazing if it just worked? Just worked, man. So cool. And it didn't. Bummer. Okay, keep trying. Yeah, what did they mean by justified? Justified. Hmm. Cross justified top down, vertical with main. Cross horizontal. Centered and justified. Centered and justified. I don't know, layout. When you want to add a single widget to a layout, and that widget should use up all available space, only one widget may be added. That's... How is that different from the other one? Sounds like it's the same thing, only with a... The difference is there's some kind of layout. What's a layout? Oh, the same type. How do you use one of these layouts? What would you use it for? With the UI layout? No, the UI has a layout. Okay, that's what it is. The UI has a layout. Oh, here we go. I didn't see this before. With layout, right to top. So what if I try that with layout? Okay, and then there's another argument here, right? Egui layout. Direction. Left to right. Comma. Try that. This doesn't work. I think I'll just table this for now. Put a to do. Yeah, and we're gonna table it. It didn't do it. Let's put a to do. Put this back the way it was, and then just drop all that other stuff there. I'm gonna put a to do here. We are hacking the slider width to stretch to the that spell. Alt Q, okay. Space. You're hacking the slider with the stretch to the available space by using a literal to take the place of the actual space needed for actual width of the readout part of the slider. Find a better way to do this, if possible. Need egui guru. Okay, so then I wanted to see if we can have a mouse drag. A mouse drag should also rotate the camera, right? So for that, I think I need to make sure we're capturing those kinds of events. We do feed it to egui, but egui is not what we want. I actually want to capture it myself. Yeah, if it's not consumed by egui, right? We want to like capture two things, right? I want like to know we're dragging, we have to move after we're holding down the button. So what would that be? Cursor moved with maybe modifier. Why is that crossed out? Deprecated. Modifiers changed. By ignoring the field, well, some modifier state. Oh, keyboard modifiers. Okay, I don't need that. What does it suggest I do by doing that? That's sort of gross. How about we just do a dot dot? I don't need the device ID, do I? The device ID. Identifier of an input device. Okay, if there's like more than one device. I'm thinking maybe we want to link the clicking and the dragging together with the device ID, but maybe I don't care right now. So then let me just remove it. I also, so if I'm going to track whether or not we're actually dragging or not, I need to know when when we click. So what is that? Mouse input? I think that's it. It's mouse move. Mouse. A mouse button pressed. That's exactly what we want. So pressed and released, right? So do I want to separate this by saying the state is pressed or released? How do I get that? Element state. So what if I just put element state? Qualify it? It's all WInit, so I can just do that. And then I want another one for released. Or maybe I just have one for both. Yeah, let's have one for both. And just say we'll match on that. So okay. I'm kind of feeling like I should use the device ID to remember which device we're dragging with. So that if I have two input devices, it's sort of excessive. But actually, I can couple it with the fact that pressed should just record it. So this is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna say if you press the mouse button, we're going to remember. How are we going to remember? In using self. Do we have a self here? We do have a self. Okay, so self dot dragging will sum device ID. And released, we'll just set it back to null. If it's the same. So if device, if let drag device will, if let sum drag device self.dragging. If we're currently dragging with that same device, so that means if drag, if device ID equals drag device, then it actually makes more sense to me to flip this around. Then dragging should be none. So we stop dragging. So I just need to store, what's the type of this device ID? Device ID, okay. Cool. Put it in our state up here. Yeah. Option, device ID. Import that sucker. All right, and then for that A. We're initially not dragging anything, so dragging should be none. Partially move self. Ooh. Okay, we have a problem. Drag with any button of any pointing device. No, I want it to be a left click. Yeah, you're right about that. So I need to only do it if the button, certain button, mouse button, left click. So, well, I can actually just qualify it up here, right? Button, left. Is that how it's done? Oh, I didn't mean to import full tick. Jeez, wrong library. Gotta be careful when I use import. We want it from not that one. WInit. Yes, so I think I can just qualify it with that, right? So it's on a left click. Let me understand what I did wrong here. Partial move because the integration got moved out. Oh, right. So what do we get passed in? We get a boxed self. What did we move out? The integration we moved out. Did I do that? So that I can move it in there? Why did I do that? Is it because I couldn't move self into there? Hold on, let me see what happens if I did the same thing with that. Why am I pulling apart self to run the event loop? Oh, because we're consuming self when we do this. Okay, yeah, we're not supposed to use self in here at all. That's the thing. Yeah, I should probably leave myself a comment for the next time. Disassemble. Word here. Decompose self into the pieces we use in the event. I just don't remember why, but let me have the compiler teach me why I had to do that. Oh, it was because of self there, right? You can't borrow from self to get to the event loop to run it and yet move self into the closure. That's the problem. So decompose self into the pieces we need to use in the event loop because the event loop. Does the event loop need to be created by the window and held onto? Yeah, because window builder needs to borrow from it. Why does window builder need to borrow from the what? Why does it need to borrow the event loop? Target. Don't know. So for some reason, the winit window builder needs to know the event loop target. Therefore, like, we need to hold on to, we need to have it before we create the window. We need to hold on to it. You know what I could do? I could cheat and just make it an option and then pull it out. Yeah, let me try that because I'd rather do that than decompose self if I can avoid it. Window has the same problem? I think window just has the same problem because the moment we take the event loop out of self, we've decomposed it. So what if instead I make this an option on the event loop? So it's detachable, right? Event loop's detachable. That means I can do some event loop. Okay, and then I can just pull it off right here. So I say let event loop equal self.eventLoop.take .unwrap. Okay, and then we shouldn't need to do that anymore. I should just be able to say self.window here. Self.egui integration, self.window, all the good stuff. The self maintains its wholeness. Self.dragging, okay. Problem. Cannot borrow self. Self is, let's make it mutable because it should be. We're mutating it at that point. Okay, that solved that problem. Okay, cool. I like that solution better than decomposing self. Let me write a note here about why I had to do that. Take the event loop out so that the closure we give it can own self. Out of self so that the closure we give it can own self without yeah, otherwise it can't own self, right? It would get an error that we moved it out. Actually, let's see the error. The error would be if I comment that out and put self dot, we'll see the error. The error is something different. Why is it no method name run? Oh, because I have to do like unwrap. Here's the error. Use of partially moved self. Partial moves occurs because self event loop has that, which doesn't implement copy. Moved out due to the method call. Yeah, if I remember right, the run consumes self. Yeah, exactly. So running an event loop consumes the event loop. So if you consume something that is a member, like in a composition, then you've partially moved it out of that composition, and so you'll get a use of partially moved self from that. So, so I got around that by detaching it from self, by making it detachable, and the trick is to make it an option, and with option take, you detach it. Drag with a global mutable state, yay. Yeah. This mutates self. This is the only point where I actually mutate the self, is I rip its event loop off. And this also has the consequence that if we call it event loop a second time, we would panic because we would no longer have an event loop. Maybe I should say that. Side effect. Panics if we call event loop more than once, which we can't already, implied by the fact that we're consuming the boxed self anyway, right? Can't anyway. Maybe it goes without saying. Maybe the side effects of panics if we never constructed an event loop, if we never made event loop. Yeah, I think it goes without saying that we can't call event loop twice because with the same window, because when you call it, it consumes the self. Yeah, all right. Much better. And I've over-explained it. I apologize for that. So this tracks whether or not we're dragging, and now in the move, I can see only if device ID is the same. Well, I guess I can say if, or is it where? How do you put a clause at the end of a pattern? Can I do this? I don't know if I can do this. Probably gonna tell me I can't do that. If let guards are experimental. Huh. I could do it in matches. Okay. Actually, I like the idea of matches anyway. Because we would want some drag device. How does this match work? Comma. Here. And then if matches. Can I have that chained again? That's what I literally want, but I don't. Yeah, I guess you can't chain these together. I can put. Can I put a comma or an and? If I can, if I could create a binding. Can I create a binding in here? Isn't that with an @ sign? I forgot how to do this. How do you do a binding in a match? I don't do this enough, so I have to look it up. Rust match binding. Binding rust by example. And I can go into a substructure. So I can do that. So what did I do wrong here? Oh, I need to modify. I didn't know you could modify the code in there. I thought that's what I did here. Can it not be inside of sum? Like has to be outside, like here or something? No, I can't even do that. Is it? It can't go into a guard. Yes. So can't do that. That's what I want to do. So instead, I guess I'll just move it inside here. Thank you for that follow, by the way. Okay, so copy this. It'd be cool if I could make that part of the event binding, but I can't. So every time a cursor gets moved, we say, hey, are we dragging the mouse? Are we dragging the mouse with this device? Okay, now the position. So two things, right? Need to know what the position was when we first started the drag, or maybe the last time we dragged. And then we need to get the difference and update the position. So I need like a drag anchor. Actually, the drag anchor, normally the way I do this is I set it up here. Drag anchor. And then this should tell me where it was, right? It doesn't actually tell me where the mouse is pressed. But can I get the current position? I need to like ask the window, where are we and where's the mouse? I guess the only way we know that is if we get a cursor move. So I guess I'm going to have to record it all the time. Well, that sucks. I have to record it for every device then. Ah, this device ID, what is it? It's is it something that's, okay, it's hashable and all that good stuff. So I can make like a self dot positions. It would help if I define that. I get help from the compiler. That's a bad name, but it's what it's going to be for a little bit. A map between device ID and what coordinates does it give me? What's that position? Physical position F64. F64. All right. Hash map comes from containers or collections. Initialize it here to be hash map new. All right, and then I need a drag anchor. Drag the anchor. An option. One of these guys. All right. Starts out with none. All right. So it's going to be instead sum of whatever its position was, right? So if let position will self dot what did I call it? Positions dot get. E would be device ID. Then, so we can actually just ignore a press if it happened, if we haven't seen the mouse position. Right, so position. Say sum here. Hey there, Endorn. How are you today? I'm doing clicking and dragging now. Hey, you want to see the program so far? Look, I did some enhancements since you last saw this. I can move the camera now. There's physics. I don't know if you saw the physics, but I can kick the cube around. I can make the kick really a big kick so it flies up in the air, then lands again, or I can just nudge it. And I can move that off the edge. See, I just naturally tried to click and drag, which is a feature I'm adding now. Get it to go right off the, oh, it's teetering. There it goes. And it shows the position and all that. Reset it back onto the screen. There it is. So what I'm working on now is I'd like the natural input, the natural way to rotate the camera, I think, would be with the input with the mouse to click and drag in the window. It should rotate the camera. That's what I'm working on now. I know I mistimed it by a minute. I was too eager. Sorry. So I'm doing the W init stuff like when you get a mouse event. So you either press or release a mouse button, and it's kind of generic. You can have many different mice, I guess. So we're recording if we're dragging the mouse or not, and I also need to know where you started dragging because we'll define the look angle based on that, I think. Actually, I'm also going to need to know I'm gonna have to have control here over the camera position, and I don't, do I? I know what I can do. I can use the channel and have it generate messages back. That's what I'll do. So then what I'll just do is every time there's a drag, I'll just say how far from the anchor we drag the mouse. So we update the positions. So this would be entry given a key, which is device ID. Or insert, or I guess, or default, or insert with. The default position is position. Then equals position. There's a shortcut for that. Can we not insert with the position? Oh, I guess it's just or insert. Can I just say insert? Yeah, okay, so we just get the old key back out, which I don't care about. So that's just device ID and position. All right, yeah. So update the position. If we were dragging, then, and if the drag device, this is the part that I would have liked to put into that, but now actually we need to track all cursor positions anyway. If we were dragging, then we want to get a difference between the current position and the anchor. So this is a drag distance equals position minus self.drag anchor.unwrap. Can't subtract physical positions? Interesting. Maybe we turn the physical position into just a vector then. So that means up here in the type, this is just an option of vector2 F32. So we'll just go to our linear algebra library for that. Import from algebra. Perfect. And then I just need to make it, this probably doesn't work. There's probably no adapter to go from that into that. So we'll have to make our own. So let position equal vector2 new position dot x position dot y. Such indentation, much wow. Okay. I guess they are 32-bit. 64, I mean. 64 it is. All right. Okay. I had a feeling it was going to complain about it being too many lines, so that's another to-do list item. Allow to do needs refactoring. Back down here. We get the drag distance, and here's where we need to get it back to the app. So I already have a channel for communicating with the app. It's in info overlay, but I'm thinking we move it out. So in addition to kicking the cube and resetting the cube, we'll have like drag the mouse. Let's move this out and put it, I guess we'll put it in main, kind of, yeah, because it's going to be shared by everything else in the program, so sure. It actually really only belongs with the app, though. Maybe we put it up here. There's already too much stuff in the app. Okay, I'll put it in main because it'll force me to move it later. So message, which is too generic. It should be like app message. So then it should go with app, shouldn't it? Yeah, okay. I keep changing my mind. It happens. App. Let's have it up here, I guess. Physics world. Huh. Modeled instances. Just put it here. So this will be like drag mouse. So this needs to include the drag distance. Okay. So we don't need to import it anymore. Info overlay message is just message now. And all of these. Message. And then here's where we would handle dragging the mouse. So this is distance. So we'll keep that to do. Okay, and then up. Get rid of that key. Info overlay now has to import from the app. Okay, now, before I forget, let me rename. Actually, I have a better idea. Where we do message, we'll import it. So info overlay. So we'll just say as app message. And then so we know where it came from. Sender of app message. The cat a bad cat? The kitty was a bad kitty? Yeah. Oh yeah, hold on a second. I've been asked to pause. All right, I'm back. All right. Okay, so the window needs to be to get one of those senders, right? Just like the egui, the info overlay gets it. So let's put it in here. App sender. Sender of app messages. So we'll need to do the same thing here. Sender is from MPSC, and then import crate app. It's actually used right in Rust. Message as app message. Okay, so then that is going to be given to us when we're constructed. Need the whole thing. Okay, and then app sender just gets stored in our self. So that down here I can use it when we get dragged. So what happens here? Self.appsender.send app message drag mouse distance. And then it's going to give me a warning unless I discard the return value of send. And just distance. Fine. Cool. So then two things, right? In the main, when we initialize that, we need to have the sender ready. Okay, that means that it needs to be outside of the app. So we need it before we even create the window. So that means that the where I create the channel. So right now it's created inside the app channel. Yeah. So we're gonna move this out to main. And this is not info overlay sender anymore. It's app sender. Okay, so the window needs one. So give it a clone of the sender and then import channel. It's an MPSC channel. And then the app's going to need both the sender and the receiver, actually. Because the app is going to use its receiver, but also internally it gives a sender to the info overlay. Chromium bugging me that it hasn't updated. Why you bug me, Chromium? Probably a good thing that it bugs me, right? Okay, so then this is a sender of messages, and this is a receiver of messages. Sender import from MPSC. And then that app sender is what we're going to give to the where is it? Info overlay. Struct our egui user interface. Egui overlay. Okay, so this is app receiver. I don't like that name now. I'm already not liking the name. I think it should be like message receiver or something like that, but I'll fix it later. Oh, this has to forward. The new on app needs to forward to the inner new. Wherever that is. Inner new. This. Copy to outer new. Paste. App sender, app receiver. All right, and then down here it's just app receiver. Okay, down to two warnings. One is that we're not using that drag distance. The other one is that we don't need this import. Down to one warning. Cool. Here we go. So we want a drag distance to change the camera angle, right? I'm gonna need another event like drag start, drag end, because this distance is going to take the x coordinate of it and then remember where the camera started and then where to move the camera to, right? We'll have a camera drag anchor. So let's look where all this is used. Here. I'm going to want to send us another kind of message on drag start and drag stop. So like here, we'll send a drag start. And then we'll have a drag end. Drag in. Drag end. Or stop. Drag stop. Start and stop. All right, back end app. Now we got to handle those. Okay. So when drag starts, we need to record the current camera angle, which was what? Look direction? I can't remember what I called it. Or is it even in the app? I think I might need to move it out of the app. Where was it? It was inside of redraw, right? The look direction, where is that? Oh, it's in the info overlay. Okay, I mean, that's fine. So we'll just say like drag start look y at drag start, or look y. Yeah, give it a really confusing name. That way I'll be forced to change it later. Actually, we don't need drag stop, do we? Don't. I don't need drag stop. Get rid of it. Don't need that. So this just needs to record whatever this type is, F64. So back in app, inner, F64. Actually, let's make that. It'd be cleaner if it was an option, and then I put back the drag stop. Right. That way I can the state is consistent, and then new can just say that there is no drag start to be done. Down here, I can just say it's sum. Okay, putting back the drag stop. Because what I want to do is on drag stop, I want to set it to none. Okay, now that we have all of that, I should be able to take the difference between, so I say if let start sum start equals self dot look at y drag start. So if we had gotten a drag start to begin with, then we say new, well, actually I can just store it directly back into it, right? Self dot look y info overlay dot look y equals start dot y. Well, it's start to be plus distance dot y. I think that'll do it. Oh, but I need to scale it, otherwise it's going to be very wild. So it should be scaled by the size, probably the size of the window divided by the field of view, right? Which we have hard coded. So I want to multiply by the field of view. So that would be I think I have it hard coded as 40 f64 rate to radians 640, and then divide by the window size. I don't know what the window size is. How do we get the window size? Good question. What do we have available to us? We don't actually have any way of knowing the size of the window, because the app was sort of independent of the window's shape and size, right? No, it does. It's there. It's under surface configuration. Surface configuration. Self.surface configuration dot width. There we go. That has to be as an F64. from. Cool. So because actually remove that because the start is an actual angle. We need to take the distance in pixels and turn it from pixels to radians. So we multiply by the radians of our field of view. One thing that's wrong is this is the vertical field of view. I need to account for the aspect. Actually, I can account for the aspect ratio by doing height, right? Instead of width. If this is the vertical field of view, then 40 degrees corresponds to the height of the window. So that should convert from the pixels to radians. See if I'm right. Hey there, Dr. Padawan. And develop it. How are you doing? Okay. Now can I click and drag? Nope. Nothing's happening. I don't even know if my events are getting through. At least we didn't break anything. The camera slider is nice and wide. Look at that. Look at that, Dr. Padawan. We got physics. And we have impulses. We can kick the cube around. Eventually it'll go off the edge. Let's do little micro kicks to get it off the edge. Flip it. Flip it. Almost. And, ooh, it's right on the edge. There it goes. Was next dragging the cube with the mouse? I was trying to drag the camera with the mouse. But I don't think I'm getting any of the events. So let's do some debugging with log messages. Actually, why don't I just put a whole thing up here, info. Actually, it's debugging, so why shouldn't we say debug? Message debug. What did I screw up here? Accidentally put that there. Oh, what did I do with start? I must have deleted that line by accident. Go back. Yeah, that's the line I accidentally deleted. So go forward again, put it back. Debug log, and oh wait, message doesn't support debug. Let's fix that. So derive debug. Now run. So now we'll get a debug message every time the app gets a message. So what are the messages? Like kick? Wait, I'm not seeing the message at all. I know we're getting it, so is debug filtered out? Probably. And there I was trying to be smart by setting it to debug. Here somewhere. Where is it? Here it is. Info instead of debug. Okay, the timeout has expired for the cat wanting attention. She did a circle around me and then meowed at me and then walked away. Okay, there's kick. Kick cube. Kick cube. Now what happens if I click and drag? Nothing. Maybe I'm not getting the event at all. So let's trace it back further. So that's back in WInit, right? I'm not getting these events at all. So let's put it here. And every time we get a window event, we're going to see it, which could be a lot of stuff. Okay, I see them, but they're cursor move. It's not mouse move, it's cursor move. Huh, I'm getting released events but not pressed events? Why would I not get a pressed event? That's odd. I wonder if egui is consuming the event. So what if I just cross that out and do that? To ignore egui. Maybe egui is absorbing my clicks. I want to be able to click behind egui, but maybe egui is not letting me do it. Yep, that's what it was. Egui was absorbing my clicks. The drag mouse is working now, but it's actually not moving the camera. Oh, it is. It's just at a microscopic scale. You see the number up here. Oh, I dragged the wrong window. Go back. Go back to that window. It's dragging the window at a microscopic level. Oh, it's also using the y coordinates as x. Why is it doing that? Yeah, I got some multiple bugs going. That message drag mouse looks correct. We moved 70 pixels. Now we moved 172 pixels. Now it's 283 pixels. I release and click again and go right. It's positive numbers. So that actually looks right. But oh, it looks like also the y coordinate adding to the camera angle for some reason. Oh, that's really weird. Oh, because this counts as a drag mouse. Look at that. Whoa. It's fighting. The slider is fighting the mouse movement on this. Okay, so let me think about this. So one problem is egui is eating my event. Another problem, um, okay, I gotta end soon because work is starting. If I ignore the fact that egui wants to eat the event, I still have the problem where this distance is wrong. No, it's right on. It's right at this point, right? Because we get all the way to here, and it's correct here. It's this calculation's wrong. Oh, because it wasn't radians. It's already degrees. So then that should just be this. I converted it's meant to go to the info overlay, so it's actually degrees, not radians. And I hate having hard coded that. I should put a to do for myself to fix that. Ugh. Don't run yet. To do remove hack of FOV. Literally copied here. Okay, the cat is attacking her cat tower. Is that in a bid to get my attention? It's working. Okay, click and drag. Oh, it's dragging, but it's using the wrong axis. Using the y axis. Using the y axis. Did I put y instead of x? Or the WNIT part of it? Oh, I'm taking the difference in 2 dimensions. Yeah, I don't want that. Yeah, that's the problem, I think. Oh, no, here it is. Not two dimensions. I actually had X there, Y there, it should be X. Cool. Some happy accents to be drawn randomly, like some trees and clouds. Maybe. Hey, look at that. I can actually drag, but the drag seems like backwards to me. So let's invert it. So negative 40 or minus distance. Okay. Hey, it looks nice to me. And if I drag from that corner roughly goes where my cursor is. Cool. I could do the same thing with the x-axis, or the x-axis in the world, which is the y-axis in the mouse space, which is confusing. Which means I could probably get rid of the slider, and then I don't have the slider problem anymore, right? Yeah. Well, I need to solve it. Like, I need to know when I'm really clicking in the background versus clicking in the UI. That I need to fix. But I am kind of curious to like move the camera in the other dimension, so let's do that. Okay, the cat just jumped on top of the door. Soon she'll learn that you really can't, not a good place to jump up to. Do you need rescuing? Does cat need rescuing? Kitty? At least this time she didn't jump onto the top of the ceiling fan like she did the first night she was here. Jumped on top of the ceiling fan. Say hi. Just wants attention. All right, so this look. So make it more generic, right? It should be like a look direction, maybe? Like a look direction in terms of azimuth and elevation would be better, right? So azimuth. Well, let's fix look azimuth. And just add another one for elevation. All right, and then let's use that down here. Oh, actually, we don't need to use it here, do we? Unless we wanted to add a slider. Why don't we add a slider? Because we can. We'll add, we'll have an X and a Y. So this one's going to use the look elevation. All right, and then in the app. Okay, then we have two things to calculate, right? Look elevation. Distance Y. Vertical pixels. Think this will work? Okay, we just need to use that now. Find references. We'll need two things here. Right, so this is like, yeah, fix this. Look. Let's put it into a struct then. Look direction. Azimuth. F64. Elevation. 64. look at drags, look drag start. Option that. Uh-oh. Do I want to know what the cat's doing now? Okay, she's behind the green screen up in the built-in cabinets. I'm just going to let her contemplate her position right up there. Okay, so this should be some look direction where the azimuth is. And the elevation is the other thing. Okay, and then this would be start.azimuth, start.elevation. Okay, and what's wrong with this? Oh, if I made it copyable, then I don't need to change stuff. Derive, clone, copy. The cat's stuck or something. You got yourself into it. You can get yourself out of it. Is that all I need to do? No, because the actual code that constructs the look. Okay. Hold on, I gotta rescue the cat because she's gonna knock something over and I'll be unhappy. You guys want to see a bad kitty? This is a bad kitty. She's bad. What do you have to say for yourself? Nothing? Being mean to me in my setup. Okay. So in addition to a look Y, I want to rotate along the X actually. There, Ollie-Wan Kenobi, yeah. That's the new kitty. Rapier is what we're using for the physics engine. Which I'm currently not changing. I'm changing the camera position. But I can answer any questions you might have about it. The little that I know about it now. Raw. Another. I have to refactor this. This is really just kind of playing around. Okay, so then when we get down here to, right, here we go. So I want to combine two transforms. We want to rotate the camera and then tilt it up, right? So that means I want two transforms. So this is azimuth. And this is elevation. Would be an x-axis transform, right? Look x, and then this I want to compose from the two. So the first one we want to do is the azimuth, and so the elevation is on the left-hand side because it's right to left composition of matrices. A little bit of linear algebra, not a big deal. Let's just run it. Yeah, it's a long stream today because it's Friday. I should be working. Oh, I got an error. Error. Probably because I didn't pass it along. Yeah, so we need the look x. How are you doing, Nightshade dude? This will lead to another error. Yeah, here's where we put in the elevation. Oh, and we got some warnings because we got too many arguments. Because I'm really just hacking now. I'm not doing a good design. So I'm just going to suppress the warning, give myself a note that says to do. If I can caps lock, please. To do. Tab caps lock off. Needs refactoring. Gonna make some lunch. I need to think about lunch, but I'm hungry, but I gotta wait a couple hours for me. Okay, cool. Now let's see if I can drag. I can. Look at that. I can look at the cube now. I'm looking at it. I'm looking at ucube. So we still have problems that this jitters, right? Yeah, we're fighting. The user interface is also being interpreted as dragging in the window, so that's a problem. Maybe for now, until I figure that out, I don't actually change them. I'll just hide the two. There's already a hack in here anyway. Let's just hide the two. Just comment all this out. So that now I'll just be forced to drag around with the mouse. There we go. Kick. Woo! Okay, so kick really high. There it goes. And there it lands. Okay, I need to fix it because see how dragging the slider is also dragging the camera? That's an issue. Kick the cube off the edge. There it goes. Bye-bye. Probably end it here and fix some of these problems next stream. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Kick. Woo. Okay, let me check this in and then we'll raid someone, all right? Did a bunch of things today. So, add camera rotation and fix cube kicking. And back that up out of the virtual machine. All right. Let me see who's streaming now. Oh, I haven't been able to raid Alt F4. There's also John Who is streaming. Slightly less impromptu stream, open source maintenance. Who to raid? As my cat tries to make a mess behind me. Or to my left. Oh, she's jumping into the shred bin again. Let's go say hello to Alt F4. I have an ad for 30 seconds. Well, that gives me enough time to set up the raid. Okay. I haven't been streaming on the weekend, so I'm probably not going to be back until Monday. But, you know, if I get bored over the weekend, maybe I'll start a stream. We'll see. But if not, I'll be back on Monday. My new schedule is 7 a.m. Pacific, so trying to be consistent about it. So, yeah, till Monday, Dr. Padawan. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys later. See ya. Bye.